Suddenly this massive panic attack came out of nowhere. The wall started caving in. It was like a bloody tsunami. I thought I was dying. So after that night, everything changed. Everything. It was the first semester of university, and I was living like every single first year lives. Drinking, smoking a lot of weed, hanging out with the wrong types of people, trying to hook up with girls, that sort of stuff. Typical university lifestyle of a 18, 19-year-old male. And one night I went round to a friend's house. He baked a bunch of weed edibles, homemade. Yeah, I started eating the weed edibles, and obviously you get the munchies. So the only thing I had available was more weed edibles. So I started eating them as the munchies.
And for those who aren't familiar,
Yeah.
munchies is when you basically have a lot of weed and then you get super hungry. It gives you this urge to just eat lots and lots, right?
Exactly. So I remember there were Smarties edibles, and so I started taking them. I was like, nothing's kicking in. I learned after that edibles, it takes longer for weed to get into your bloodstream than if you smoke. So that's why it didn't kick in, but I didn't know that. And so I was eating loads and loads. I must have had a tray, like a whole tray. There was 2 trays and I had a full tray. And then suddenly I started having these really severe heart palpitations, and it was unmanageable. It was uncontrollable. And I just started getting really, really paranoid, like something bad was about to happen. And it got worse and worse and worse. I was trying to distract myself. I was trying to like pretend it wasn't happening. And it got really, really intense. And then I started throwing up. Suddenly this massive panic attack came out of nowhere, man. It was huge. It was like a bloody tsunami. I thought I was dying. That's the only thing I thought was happening. I thought I was dying. I even tried to type a text to my mum saying, I'm going to die. I'm sorry. I did this to you. I really am sorry. Long story short, I ended up crawling part of the way home back to my apartment, and I was throwing up, and yeah, woke up the next day, was sick everywhere on my bed, and I just got up like nothing had happened. Yeah, 7 days later, I was revising in my room. Suddenly, the wall started caving in, and I was like, something's not right. My heart starts beating again. I'm like, I've got a heart problem. I'm going to die. That's the same thing happened before.
And you were sober at this point?
I was sober. I was just revising for a mock exam. It was a Friday night. And then I ended up in A&E, and they put me in the waiting room. I was like rocking back and forth because I was just so convinced that I was going to die. And then I ended up barging through the security doors where the hospital, in A&E, they have like security on the doors. It was Friday night in Newcastle. So it's quite a rowdy. There was lots of people who'd been bashed up and a lot of people on drugs. And I literally barged through the security, through the doors. And I begged with the 2 nurses, please help me, I'm going to die. They sat me on the bed. I started hyperventilating. My vision went, and that's when I thought I was going to die. And then they had to just calm me down. They gave me some sort of medication to calm down. I think it was, one of these, maybe a benzo or something like that. So after that night, everything changed. Everything. I wasn't able to leave my apartment. My life changed overnight because I was convinced that I still had something physically wrong. They did tests on me in the hospital that night. I was there for about 6 hours. They did tests on me and they said it's just anxiety. I didn't know what anxiety was, for one, but 2, I didn't believe them. I thought there's no way that could be just anxiety. It's not just the heart palpitations I was getting this real dissociation and like just disconnect from reality. So in my head, because I wasn't educated on what anxiety was, I thought, no, there's something deeper happening. There's something darker happening here. It can't just be a mental health thing. It's my body's deteriorating. My body's declining. And because I had that subconscious belief, because of the evidence that was presented in front of me and the lack of education, I just developed a strong belief that there's something wrong with me. So everywhere I went, I would just be convinced that I was about to drop dead. So that lasted for 2 to 3 years, really, of that state. And it was daily panic attacks. So for the first month, it was daily panic attacks. I wasn't able to leave my apartment. Then I would gradually try and go outside, go to the shops, do basic things. And that was a struggle. And then I'd revert back to staying in the house or in my apartment at uni. Ended up going home to live at my parents' house because I couldn't function anymore. I went through a period as well of trying to mask it through drinking. I went out and I drank and drank and drank to try and numb the feelings, and it would work. Drinking would be a good way of like keeping the anxiety base so I wouldn't have panic attacks. But then I'd wake up and I'd have a really bad one, like a really bad one.
Of course.
But there was this one day that this was the beginning of my healing journey. This day, it was like the worst day of my life, and it was also the start of a new life. And I went out the night before. I drank 10 Coronas. I was at this Tiger Club. Are you familiar with that?
Leicester Square.
No, it's in Newcastle. It was in Newcastle.
Newcastle,
Yeah.
okay.
I woke up for a 9 a.m. seminar. My friend was waiting outside the building. I got up and I was like, I'm not going to go. I told him I'm not going to go. So I started walking anyway towards the seminar room. It was outside St. James's Park, the Newcastle Stadium. And I sat there. And for the first time in my life, I genuinely didn't know what to do in my own body. In so much psychological pain. I was like, I don't know what to do in my body. I don't know where to go. Like nothing. I'm stuck in this feeling. And I had thoughts like, just throw yourself in front of this car. And that scared me. And I was like, right, I can't be here. I can't be here because I don't trust myself. So I ended up going to A&E. Checked myself in. They saw me. I was like, oh, no, not you again. Let's go to minor injuries. So they saw me. Because I went like multiple times that month. They said, I'll go to minor injuries.
Did you say you had suicidal impulses or tendencies?
No, I didn't. I just said, I need help. I just need help. I didn't even know what to say. I was just like, I need help.
Yeah, because you're running away from your own mind, really.
Exactly.
I am
Yeah. Basically what happened there was they put me in the waiting room again. I decided to go to the toilet and make myself throw up because I just wanted to feel something, because I just wanted some like change in my state. And then I put on this meditation app and I was in there for an hour. I was in the toilet for an hour, the disabled toilet. And suddenly I had this voice in my head. It was like, surrender, just let go. Just let go. Let this happen. Let whatever wants to happen. If it's death, let it happen. It was like this epiphany. It's like fighting it isn't working. Like fighting the panic attack isn't working. Just let it wash you away. Just whatever. Like you got nothing to lose. And then I did that. I surrendered. And suddenly this like relief like washed in my body. And I was like, oh my God, like I feel relief. And I got out of the hospital without even being seen. And I went straight to the therapy office at university, got seen to, went to Waterstones, bought 4 books. And that was the day that changed my life. I stopped drinking. I started getting into self-help. I started therapy. And that day changed my life. And I had this thought, I can get myself out of it. I had this like thought when I left the hospital, they can't get me out of it because they haven't got me out of it. I need to do something internally to get myself out of this. And that was the thought that changed my life.
Yeah. So many different areas we can explore from that. First of all, we could touch upon briefly the treatment that they were giving you. You're saying it obviously didn't work. So what were the standard practices that just weren't resonating? Was it medication or what were they trying to do? They
didn't really do anything. I just was waiting in the waiting room a lot of the time. But they did refer me to a GP, and the GP was terrible. It was terrible. I went there and they gave me medication for a beta blocker and an SSRI called citalopram. They said, take this, you'll be sweet, and here's a hotline that you can call. And honestly, the medication made the symptoms worse and the paranoia worse.